Hi, everyone. Welcome to The Win with Heather Havenwood. And this is Raw. This is an episode where it's just me and you and hanging out, talking about what's going on in the world about entrepreneurship and startups and business. And just to let you know, if y'all haven't figured this out yet, my name is Heather Havenwood, and I'm a marketing and sales coach where I help business owners and solo entrepreneurs. What I do is I help them understand really what the business they're in and then help market their message, really. So that is what I do for a living. I would love to work with you. If you're interested in working with me, just go to heatherhavenwood.com. And the upper right-hand corner says Work with Heather. It is a free consultation. We'd love to get on the phone with you and your team, the whole thing. I love working with businesses and their teams. I think it's a ton of fun. And again, this is Heather Havenwood, marketing coach. So today I want to talk to you about something that's truly, I think, really monumental to the world of entrepreneurship. And I get chills. And that is that Fidel Castro has passed away in Cuba. And you're thinking, I don't know what that means. Maybe you heard about it over the weekend, but this is a really big deal. And if you hear the bird, I'm so sorry. He's very close to the window. This is a really big deal in the world of entrepreneurship. And I think it's quite interesting. And then November 15th, The Prophet, which is done by Marcos, I can never remember his last name, Marcos Balenos. He runs the company called The Prophet. It's a show really about Marcos Lemonis is his name. He actually visited Cuba, and you can find it online. Looking at it right now, you can check it out. CNBC, The Prophet. He actually visits there, and his usual shows, he goes into one business and does one business for the entire show. And I found this was a special that he did. He actually went to Cuba. And they videoed him from the moment he landed all the way through the process of going on the streets, just talking to kids. He met with, I think, 5 or 6 different entrepreneurs, and he went through each of their situations. Like, what do they deal with? What do they have? I mean, it was fascinating. And I mean, I've heard things in Cuba. I've heard that it's restricted. I've heard that it's been communist, but I really didn't get it until Marcus went there, because it came from a place of people wanting a life better for their family, and they were willing to do whatever it took to be an entrepreneur under this massive repressed governmental restrictions. And I never really got how much they were restricted. There's one specific one. I'm just going to name her and explain to you her story. Her name is Sandra Aldama. And gosh, she was really profound to me. He went into her home, which is actually her warehouse, which is also her kitchen. They call it her kitchen. And through tools that you and I have, like a pot and pan, these things that you and I take for granted. Okay. She was literally making homemade organic soaps and shampoos out of a modest kitchen, a skill she learned from her grandmother, who'd worked in a cosmetic factory before the revolution would happen. And now she literally takes soaps and she melts them down and then puts it through a cheese grater, right? And then it's just fascinating. The whole thing is really fascinating. And she talks about how what she does, she shows the women in her tiny little, I'm talking like tiny, okay, that a 1-bedroom apartment of a New York studio would be, and that she sells these soaps for $2 and $2.50 each. And she offers 10 soaps, and he goes through the whole process of the whole thing, and how the average person in Cuba makes $25 a month. Okay. And she's able to have this own business, pay women, other employees. She's able to do this from her home. I mean, this is like revolutionary in the world of Cuba. And then he went with her to where she sells them, which is actually this small little, like a what do you call that? A farmer's market. And she pays for this little booth. So of course, Marcus is always looking for, how can you sell more, right? How can you sell more? And so he says things like, well, it's a huge area, right? He goes, why don't you get another booth? Like, get one on the other side, or let's get you another booth. And she's like, no, you cannot do that. We're not allowed. It's only one. I'm licensed only for one, and I'm not allowed to grow. And I just found that so fascinating. And he asked her, why do you do this? I mean, this is hugely challenging. You're in this tiny little apartment. And what do you do this for? And she just starts tearing up. And she just says, because I want a new future for my life and my child. And that's what it's about. And I want to read to you the definition of entrepreneur. A person who organizes and operates a business or businesses, taking on greater than normal financial risks in order to do so. And that is truly what an entrepreneur is in all sense of it. And the other gentleman I want to talk to you about, I'm going to take a break here in just a second, is actually about it's a cupcake. They're selling cupcakes, and it's a bakery. It's a bakery that he sells bakeries. Him and his sister. Okay, and this is another person that Marcos talked a lot about inside of this episode called "The Prophet in Cuba," and I think it's fascinating that this actually was aired on November 15th, 2016, and here on November 26th is when Castro passed away. And I remember when he was picked up in this show, The Prophet in Cuba, he was picked up in a taxi. And the taxi was this beautiful reconstructed car that looked like it was from the 1950s. It was beautiful teal blue, and top was down, looked like a 1950 T-Bird or something. I don't know cars, the guy was shifting. It was the original car. And I was brought to my attention about, it was around the 50s when Fidel Castro came into power. And that is when he really took all this down. And it's really just fascinating to me, the freedom that I think the future of the Cubans are going to be able to be facing into. I just find it really fascinating and exciting for all entrepreneurs. And so when I hear people talk about, well, I don't have any money, or there's all these different obstacles in front of them, and here's these Cubans that you talk about obstacles, every time they turn around, there's an obstacle. Okay. It is absolutely ridiculous. So when we come back, and you're listening to Heather Havenwood, when we come back, we're going to talk about the brother and sister business that is unbelievable, fascinating, that I was just blown away by Marcus and what he was talking about. We'll be right back. This is The Win with Heather Havenwood. Ever want to create an online course? Ever want to duplicate yourself and your expertise, but you're not techie? Then listen up. Thinkific was designed with you in mind. Thinkific is an online platform that gives you all the tools you need to easily and quickly create and sell online courses. They take all the tech headaches out of online course creation, like designing your course, hosting your content, taking payments, and integrating with other applications, so you can focus on creating the content, engaging with your students, and making money. Are you ready to stop repeating yourself to one person and instead leveraging your time by creating an online course? Great. Then go to heatherhavenwood.com/thinkific. That's THINKIFIC for a very special offer for friends of Heather. Again, go to heatherhavenwood.com/thinkific to your success. Hey everyone, this is Win with Heather Havenwood. Welcome back. And this is Raw with Heather Havenwood. We're talking about today is entrepreneurship. And there's something that's actually happened that I would call a freedom case, a freedom, which is the passing of Fidel Castro. And we're hoping that because of this, Cuba will be able to be open to trade, will be open to entrepreneurship. It will be a revolutionary cause with the people. And just to let you know, the average Cuban makes $25 a month, right? And so recently I'm talking about how on the show The Prophet with Marcus Lemonis, he goes to Cuba, and instead of looking at one business, because he's not allowed, because what he talks about is what he does on his show is he actually will buy into a business. He'll give them money to help him out, and he buys a percentage. That's the deal. Well, he's not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to buy into or give Cubans money for anything. And so he's there with just listening, like learning, listening, asking questions about what they do, how they do it. And of course, in his own little way, he's trying to say, hey, well, try this. Have you tried that? Have you tried this? We can really expand. This is amazing, and they're just shot down. He's like, he keeps getting told no, 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 no. So this is one particular story of a bakery. It's a brother and a sister. Okay. Sandra and Tony Camacho Rodriguez, they have a bakery. Now, in the bakery it is the size of a closet. I mean, it's tiny, in a closet. And he goes in there, and of course he tries, Marcus goes in there and tries them. He's like, wow, these are really good. And he starts doing the calculations. He starts asking them on camera, like, how much does this one center make? And of course, the brother, who's part owner, shuts that down. Like, we can't talk about that, right? And it's because, I mean, it's a communist country, and he doesn't know who's watching. He could be shut down tomorrow. And so Marcus is talking about this and going, okay, no, I get it. I'm sorry. Are you upset because the cameras are? He goes, yes, I don't know who's watching. And, we never know. We don't know. We're not really allowed to be successful. But he realized, they're doing the calculations. He realized that they're probably bringing in about $37,000 a year, maybe, or so a year out of this closet. Now, again, the average Cuban makes $25 a month. Okay. So you can get, this is like massive money. And so Marcus says, okay, well, this is great. You got a great brand. I mean, people in here all day long. It was just nonstop. And he said, well, let's, can't you franchise? Like, let's open one on the other side of Havana, right? Easy. And he's like, no, you're not allowed to. You're only allowed to have one business license. Right. And it was like, wow. And Marcus said something really interesting. He said, it's amazing to me that even out of this massive push down of the freedom, these few individuals have what I call have pushed through the rock, and said, I want a better life. And what was interesting to me is the female, which is the sister. He asked her, what have you done in the past? And she said, I was a dentist. Now, what you didn't know is, like, lawyers and dentists they didn't work for freelance companies or entrepreneurship companies like here in the United States. They actually work for the government. So if you're a dentist or a doctor, you work for the government. If you're a lawyer, you work for the government. So that's how that worked. Okay. And he said, wow, that's a good profession. Why did you leave it? And she said, well, I only made $50 a month. And he's like, as a dentist? She said, yes. So obviously going to this business with her brother, they're way more wealthier, right? It was just this massive opportunity. There's just so much opportunity. What I saw when Marcos was there is unbelievable, not only opportunity, but desire. Like, there was this massive desire for just new things and types of things. And, like, you can't even buy Nikes, or you can't buy anything that's American made. There's this huge amount of stop to that. And they said that anything American made, it'll come into the government shops every now and then they're gone. Like, it's rare to get them. And I thought that really interesting, just how many restrictions, rules that Fidel Castro had put on this community, on this entire country of people that all they want is a chance for their lives. And as an entrepreneur, that is what entrepreneurship is. It is a journey. It's a destination. It's meaning a designation. It's not a destination. So there's no place to get to in the world of entrepreneurship. The whole point of entrepreneurship is being able to take a risk on oneself and risk on your idea, and then be able to create a commerce around that such that you help other people. And that's the part that I found really so awesome about this particular bakery and all of the entrepreneurs, is that when they built this business, they helped other people. And so he went and asked, like, the chefs, the people who are like actually making and doing the baking. He asked, well, who are you? And did you find people who are bakers? And they said, no, these were our friends. These are, most of these people were lawyers, had no idea how to bake, and we taught them. We literally gave them the ingredients. And he said, well, what's your number one challenge today? He goes, well, we can't get chocolate. And he goes, well, what do you mean you don't need that? You don't have the money? He's like, no, we have the money. We can't get chocolate because the government restricts. They restricts. You can only go to government grocery stores and they restrict the amount of things they have, or you can go to like farmers markets, but again, they restrict it because the government owns the farms. Okay. And he was confused. I was confused. I'm thinking to myself, no wonder this is a country that's not very prosperous right now. They don't have chocolate. I would run in 1,000 places because I have to have my chocolate. Again, I just found it really interesting. So I encourage you to go check this out. It's on CNBC.com. You can just type in Google the prophet in Cuba. And it was just really fascinating to me. So I just want to, use this time on my show, Raw, about really thankful. Of course, it's after the weekend of Thanksgiving, being thankful that we're in the United States. And if you're listening, not in the United States, being thankful for your country to be able to be an entrepreneur. Like you actually have a choice. And if you're listening and you are in Cuba, I mean, that'd be great if you are, because I would just love to hear from you. You can email me at any time, media@sexybossinc.com, media@sexybossinc.com. I want to hear from you in your story. I want to hear how you were able to, what I call rise from the ashes, or, grow a little plant through rocks. And I visualize, we in the United States here have this, what I call amazing soil for entrepreneurship, and we're given and gifted these amazing freedoms, be able to build a business, be able to say what we want to say, go after our dreams. That's what I call ripe soil, And then in other countries like Cuba, you have these huge rocks and the soil is not designed to grow anything. And we don't have that. And yet through the rocks, there are these, plants being like just going out of their way to bust through and still grow. And I truly believe those people are what I call the true definition of entrepreneurship. And so I just want to take this time to thank every entrepreneur in the world for doing what you need to do to move all the different mountains you had to move to be able to be out there and do what you need to do, down to the dentist, the chiropractor, to the seamstress. He met an amazing seamstress in Cuba, the restaurateur, the baker. It just really moved me as an entrepreneur to see these people. All they want is a chance. All they want is a better life. And so I think it's through entrepreneurship and the freedom of that's possible. So I just want to, I'm excited, believe it or not, I'm glad to hear that Fidel Castro is no longer here on this planet. And hopefully that'll spark the opportunity for Cubans around the world to create prosperity in their own country. And not that I would love for them to come here. There's tons of them in Florida. I met many of them, but I know that they are proud of their country and they want to be able to build and prosper again in their own country. And I think that's really important. So, again, I want to hear from you if you're from Cuba or not. Either way, my name is Heather Havenwood with The Win. I'm a marketing and sales coach. And, I help businesses like yours. I help businesses grow and prosper. How do they market their business? How do they get their message out there? What are the things that they're doing online correctly? What are the things they're doing online incorrectly? What's their brand? What's the message? All those different pieces are so important in building a business, right? You got to have demand, but how do you break through the noise of the industry or of the entrepreneurships out there? So I just want to acknowledge each and every entrepreneur out there, and as especially being thankful as Thanksgiving here in Austin, Texas. We had a beautiful Thanksgiving with Donna and I. We went to the Four Seasons. It was awesome. We had a really great time, just relaxing, just not talking to anybody. It was just kind of this calming, amazing time. And so I just want to use this time on this podcast, The Raw with Heather Havenwood, as an opportunity just to say, hey, be thankful for the opportunities you have in front of you. And let's, send love and light and prayers to the Cubans and hoping that the regime, as they call it, will allow Cubans to rise up and build a new future, really build a new future. So, all right, that's it. This is Heather Havenwood, The Win, and check me out at heatherhavenwood.com. Love to hear from you. You can email me at media@sexybossinc.com. Just let you know, my book, Sexy Boss, just came in print. So you have a woman in your life, a woman or someone who's 13, 14, or, a teenager or in their college saying, hey, you want to have something that's an inspirational story you want to give them for Christmas? Love for you to consider my book, because that's what it is. It was really my story about how I was successful and then I wasn't really heavily. And then I'm, rising from the ashes. And so it's really about sharing my story and helping other people, go beyond what they know how to do and being hopeful and passionate and committed. So this is Heather Havenwood with RAWHH. Check it out, heatherhavenwood.com. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Have a great day.
Look, our whole world revolves around our iPhone, iPad, Droid. They say we look at our phones on average 150 times a day. And if you're a small business and want to actually grow, you need to reach people where they're looking at and listening the most, their smartphones. See, marketing via text messaging is a great way to start, and it's super easy. Just text the word START to 72,000 to learn more about my friends at Mobit. They're marketing experts, and they will show you how to use text messaging for your business and to get more leads and convert them amazingly. Again, text the word START to 72,000. Again, that's text the word START, START, to 72,000.